Hey guys, Coach Ben Lee here checking in. Today we're talking about chocolate. Green and Black's dark chocolate. Delicious, yummy, nutritious dark chocolate. Can't wait to tell you all about dark chocolate. Just hang on here while I just finish this off and put it back in the fridge. Alright guys. Okay. Chocolate. This is where the good stuff kicks in. Excuse that door. Now, chocolate. So what about chocolate? Why do we want to include chocolate? Guess what, girls? Tricked you again. We're not talking about chocolate. What we're talking about today is your hormonal body, okay? How your hormones affect your body. Like it or not, girls, we really need to get your hormones under control, okay? So, we've been talking about diet, we've been talking about exercise. Now it's time to sort of get control of our hormones. We're going to talk about cortisol, we're going to talk about our thyroid, we're going to talk about ovaries, stomach. Okay, these are a few things that we're going to speak about today. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about PMS and menstrual cycles and energy slumps and things like that. So over these next 2 days, we're going to really get down to the nitty-gritty bits when it comes to your hormones. All right, so girls, the brain. Number one, the brain. Alright, so whenever you're in danger or you're feeling frazzled, what the brain does, or the hypothalamus does, is it slingshots cortisol, okay? So cortisol is a stress hormone in our bloodstreams, and it quickens our heart and it feeds our brain with extra oxygen, okay? So it unleashes energy from our fat and glucose, but this is a bad thing. So this is that flight or stress response, okay? And what we want to do is control cortisol. So we know the girls are stressed creatures, okay? You think about the most stupid and weirdest things sometimes, and I constantly speak to Amy, and sometimes I'm like, I don't even fathom how you got that from that. Blokes are logical, girls, you're kind of a little bit crazy. Let's admit it. Anyway. So we want to control cortisol. There's two things that sort of upset cortisol. Okay, there's obviously lifestyle factors that can sort of stress us out a little bit. So we want to try and decrease that stress as much as possible. Also, our relationship with food. Okay, so managing our insulin can have a direct effect on cortisol. If there's too much insulin floating around the system because we've been eating too much carbs, so there's too much blood glucose floating around the system, then we need to control that. So managing our carbs helps us manage our insulin. And if there's too much insulin obviously managing around, then our cortisol is going to spike up. So it's too much stress, okay? Same when it comes to that time of the month. We want to try and look after ourselves as best as we can then. So we want to take a step back, remove ourselves from stressful environments, some yoga, some meditation. We want to get some of our good sups in, like our multivitamins and magnesium and things like that, and make sure that we're supporting ourselves as well. Okay, so how we want to sort of balance out our week. Okay, so like I said, we're going to use a bit of cardio during our workout weeks. We're going to use some weight training, and we want to keep this. We want to keep a routine. Like I've said before, we all crave routine and we crave structure. Okay, so this is going to help us reduce our cortisol levels. Okay. And we want to keep our cortisol levels, like I said, for no longer than 40 to 45 minutes, okay? This is when our cortisol starts to rise again, and then if it's starting to rise, then our results that we get in the gym are going to be mitigated, okay? So we want to keep our results, keep our time, and maximize our time whilst we're in the gym, okay? Now, thyroid, guys, thyroid. All right, so our thyroid gland, okay, like I spoke about way back in like days 1 and day 2 about getting your bloods analysis done and finding out, what your liver functions like. So we want to control our thyroid. Right? So our thyroid gland acts as our body's internal thermometer, okay? Now, there's a few major players which regulate our metabolism, and the thyroid being one of them. And unfortunately, chronic stress, so too much cortisol, can wreak havoc on our thyroid. Nutritional deficiencies as well. So this is what I was saying back in with the vlog, with getting a blood analysis done. If you're deficient in any phyto micronutrients that your body needs to support itself, which is going to support your thyroid, which is then going to support your metabolism. Okay. Now, what else? Okay, so with the thyroid, if it's not sort of functioning properly, we can see inflammation, which throws out the whack of our other hormones, okay, in our body. And then some of the things you might just start to feel is, starting to feel a little bit fatigued. You're going to start to feel possibly constipated. You're not going to regulate your body temperature, so you could feel quite hot, or you could feel quite hot, cold. Mainly girls sort of would normally feel pretty cold. Okay, so how we want to balance this out? All right, so we want to remove toxins from our environment, so including like BPAs. We want to make sure that maybe even our fluoride in our water, that we're sort of getting rid of that out of the water, so we're only drinking bottled water or alkalized water. What else? So making sure that our diet is a balanced diet, which has a lot of green vegetation in there. Okay, we're getting different meats. Okay, so that we're, like I said before in our nutritional ones back in 1, 2, that we're getting the requirements from our nutrition. Okay, we want to sort of let up on the coffee as well. Like, we don't want to be having too many coffees. I think 1 coffee a day is plenty. Okay, guys. A lot of people are slow oxidizers and really can't handle too much caffeine. So we want to sort of mitigate our caffeine going in, and because that obviously with caffeine can raise our anxiety and things like that. All right, guys. Next one, we've got ovaries. Okay, so ovaries are estrogen and progesterones. Okay. This is the stuff that us boys don't have and you girls have, and wreaks havoc on your lifestyle. All right, so estrogen and progesterone. So as your ovaries ramp up production, one of your female sex hormones, they simultaneously slow down the production of the other. Okay, so it's a vital seesaw that keeps your reproductive system running, and sadly, this ushers in your PMS. Okay, now a happy partnership is to be we want to see a happy partnership here. Okay, and if we're not seeing it, then that's when we're going to start to see weight gain and chronic stress. So some things that can upset the balance of this is exposure to toxic chemicals, like I've said before, like BPAs, things like that. So we want to decrease our estrogen. So we want to decrease the estrogen that's within our body, because this can upset our hormonal system. So a lot of the times, if our hormones are getting upset, then we need to find out what's the root cause of this. Okay, and so some of the first things you need to do is obviously you start to manage your insulin better. Okay, because this is one of our major hormones that provides energy for our body, and it's going to support your body during this hormonal phase. Okay. Secondly, we want to decrease body fat. Okay, like if we're carrying a lot of body fat, then that fat tissue is going to produce more estrogen as well. So this is why blokes get man boobs, because they're starting to produce estrogen. Same with girls. Okay, so obviously you're already producing estrogen, and if you're starting to put on more body fat, then it's going to throw your hormones out even further. This is the case when people with depression and anxiety. They get overweight, and then this excess of estrogen can really start to wreak havoc on your body. Okay, so we want to decrease our body fat. We want to get to a good body fat level. Okay, so girls, we should be sitting at least 20% to 15%. I think as a healthy weight for a girl to sit around. Okay, you're not ripped, you're just healthy, you're exercising regularly. Okay, and that's the kind of numbers that I would shoot for girls that is for a healthy sort of body fat. So how we balance this out, guys, like I said, we decrease that body fat, increase our cruciferous vegetables, okay, and we want to relieve that stress from our body. Okay, so if our ovaries and the progesterones aren't working properly, this is going to also wreak havoc on our adrenal glands. Okay, and then this is going to disrupt our male sex hormones. Okay, so our DHEAs, our testosterones. So our male sex hormones play the same role in our body. It pumps our sexual desire. It strengthens your muscle, your bone density, metabolism. So if these things aren't there and they're working, or they're a little bit sluggish, then this is also can contribute to you being sort of depressed or disinterested. Okay, and can also lead to acne and facial hair and other unsightly woes. So often we find with the Biosig stuff that a good representation of male sex hormones is body fat here on the tricep. Okay, so that's why blokes are quite lean through the tricep, and girls will have the tuck shop lady arms. Okay, because their male sex hormones are pretty much non-existent. Okay, and you see like lean girls that have like nice toned arms, their male sex hormones are functioning, and that's how come they're getting better results, because they've got a little bit of male sex hormones that you do have are working well. Okay, guys. What else? Okay, so make sure that we're helping with all these things. Like I said back in the first days, is stomach. Okay, so we need to make sure our gut health is spot on. If our gut health isn't functioning properly, then we can't absorb our phyto micronutrients. So we need to assess our gut health to make sure that we can balance out our hormones. All right, guys. So just going to wrap that up there because I don't want this to go for too long. I probably could have gone for a bit longer. I'm going to be holding a seminar on this next week, okay, on PMS, menstrual cycle, and energy slumps, sugar cravings. I really like for you all to come. I hope you enjoyed this this video blog. All right, guys, Ben Lee, peace out.